When I seen it the first time, I was shocked. Then I got into a feeling like I kind of feel bad for Drake, how Toronto and the Canadians did him when Kendrick and SZA popped out at the GNX tour in Toronto. It's just insane. Y'all are partying up in the restaurant that he shot his video in, and Kendrick dissed him about. The whole battle still includes kind of overtones and disses towards Canadian people. You're not one of us. You guys chase American culture. You guys are a mixed bag. Drake, you ain't on nothing because you Canadian. Like the guy goes in there, and I'm gonna stand on the fact that I didn't see him having a problem. Okay, didn't nobody think that top five was going to scare him away from $100 million night? No, he's going to move in there like the president, do his show. The fans that was going to flood the building was going to be tens of thousands of people that bought tickets, and then he was going to go about his business. But the impact of it, the way the crowd responded to him, the way they did the standing ovations, the screaming of the one more time for songs like Not Like Us, I was done with it. We reported on it. I was shocked. I was like, damn, that's foul that y'all did Drake like that after how he carried it, damn near the ambassador of the whole country. And I moved on. And we still watching this energy and this effect of it. Now, one thing about Drake is very, very territorial with his friendships, right? He likes to have people draw that clear line in the sand. Like he'll unfollow LeBron. Did we forget that him and Academics did the little miniature, we're gonna expose LeBron? Remember the conversation that Drake was having with that guy in his DMs that he had the back and forth with, and it was like, yo, but what if people find out that LeBron's wife or he's cheating? He's not this golden guy, this golden image, right? So he'll do LeBron like that. He'll drop the little Fighting Irish leak song on LeBron. He'll start unfollowing people on Instagram. He'll call people out of their name. And we see this guy, what's his name? Jameet or Jagmeet Singh, right? A politician out there that's making headlines that he's getting into it with because the guy popped out at the you're gonna have all these type of people, basketball players. They come into town. He's gonna mean mug you at courtside. He's gonna do all of that. But let's see this latest one, because I still stand on the opinion that Drake, you can't diss Toronto or Canada as a whole. That would just be the final effect of this man performing in your city. You can't look at the people and say, y'all fuck me over. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are stupid. Y'all are blind. Yeah, they are. I don't know what the Canadians was on. They definitely dropped the bet. I don't know where their mind was. They did. Drake would be in the right. But from a chessboard standpoint, he can't do it. He can't do it. But he's getting close. And I do got a video we're going to bring up in a second, too. We're even going to bring up an update of where his lawsuit is. But what's going on with him and the politician? Let's check this out. So Drake calls Canadian politician a goof for attending Kendrick's show in Toronto. All right. So this is the politician that we're talking about, Mr. Jagmeet. Okay. Drake called Jagmeet a goof after Canadian politician was seemingly spotted at a Kendrick Lamar's concert in Toronto. Drizzy shared a screenshot of his direct message to Singh, in which he wrote, "You're a goof." This was a response to Singh, or at least a man who looked just like him, being spotted enjoying K-Dot's concert. Singh, 46 years old, is the former leader of Canada's New Democratic Party and was a member of the parliament in British Columbia. So this is the story, right? So Drake posted this, like this was a private DM, but then he screenshotted it and then posted it to his story. I guess he wanted the world to know, I am dissing this politician for popping out at the concert. Why? I think he could have just DM'd them and kept it moving, right? Why did he want this to be public? Is that a bad move within itself? Wanting the entire hip hop world and industry to know that we don't know who this guy is. We've never seen him before, but he means something to you and he means something to Toronto or to Canada. And he pulled up to the concert and you wanted the world to know, I just called him a goof. That's that territory. And that's why I'm saying he's getting close. He's going to do an interview sooner or later or a tweet, and he's going to come off like he's dissing the entire country. Like, watch. And that's going to be a ball drop on his side. But look, on it, Thanks for the follow, brother. This was October 7th, 2019. So this is when the politician hits Drake up. Just I guess it's cool. His favorite or his local, the biggest rapper out there, the pretty much ambassador out there follows you. Hey, we all carrying this thing together. This is a Toronto thing. If you play for the sports teams out here, if you're the biggest rapper, if you do the biggest shows, if you're a politician out here, we all networking, right? So he says, I'm on it. And then here we go, fast forward. Look at this shit. You're a goof. What is his name? Adidon. What is that? Adidon Boom. Okay. Isn't that his son's name? Story of Adidon and all that. If Drake thinks Sing is a goof for going to Kendrick Lamar's concert, he's going to have to send tens of thousands of similar messages to the others in attendance. Lamar's Grand National Tour brought him to Toronto for a 2-night run that started on June 12th. I agree with that. The reason why I agree with that is, of course, you think that the big folks that you're aligned with, met, shook hands with, are cool with, represent the country or the city the way that you do. You want the leaders and the people with the voices to stand with you, right? Like all those people that was at the pop out concert, for example. You're looking at them like, wow, look at all y'all, LeBron and Westbrook, and these are people that I'm cool with, and wow, y'all did me like that. Like, LeBron, I got you tattooed on me, bro. Like, but at the end of the day, I don't care how big some of these guys, reputations are. They still are following the energy of the people and what's popping. There should be loyalty. I don't know how deep your friendship is with this damn politician, but yeah, there should be forms of loyalty. And there was even apology from this guy. This guy posted an apology to Drake saying, I went for Scissor. I didn't go for Kendrick. First of all, shut the fuck up. Like, just stand on your shit. I went for Scissor. I didn't go for Kendrick, but I shouldn't have been there. I'm sorry, blah, blah. So he did issue an apology to him. But the city, you are the sixth god, right? Are you going to take a shot at everybody that was in attendance? You can't, in my opinion, but that would be insane. You can't just pick one person out, because if you look at the picture of the guy, he looked like he was buried in the crowd, damn near discreet. Like the picture of him that's going around the internet, it looks like he got caught there, like he was trying to hide a little bit. Like he was like buried in the middle of the crowd. I don't even know how he got spotted. You know what I'm saying? The picture looks like some Where's Waldo shit. Real talk. Damn, son. Lamar, of course, performed Not Like Us in Drake's backyard instead of being carried out to the building by Canadians holding pitchforks and torches. He performed the song again after fans told him one more time, one more time, one more time. A standing ovation from the crowd reportedly went on for 2 minutes, but Lamar decided that he wouldn't honor his fans' request. He didn't even give them what they asked for out there. Do the Drake kill song again. Do the Drake kill song again. Nah, I'm cool. In Toronto, this is next level shit. Drake has every right to be furious at Lamar's destruction of the Church of Ovinology. In April, Lamar mocked Drake's drop ad-lib from Family Matters during the Minnesota stop on the Grand National Tour. He's doing that on every stop. When I went to the tour, he did the same thing. That drop on the screen played as well. And the depositions and all that. He's doing that at every city. It's part of like the overall scheduling and everything of how it runs. Lamar played a pre-recorded scene on the screen, US Bank Stadium, that featured him sitting in a chair while on the same thing. The deposition talk. All right. So this guy, and I had to even pull up a little Wikipedia. I'll read just a little quick summary for you, just to make sure I knew who he was, how big of a deal he still is out there in Canada. So Jagmeet Singh was born January 2nd, 1979, a Canadian former politician who served as a leader in the New Democratic Party, NPD, from 2017 to 2025. So that's a very recent stint, right? And as the member of parliament for Burnaby South from 2019 to 2025, he was elected to the Legislative Assembly in Ontario in 2011, representing Gore Malton, until his entry into federal politics. All right. Upon his election, Singh became the first person of a visible minority group to lead a major Canadian federal politician party on a permanent basis, and the second overall after the Bloc Quebecos, whatever that is, former interim leader. Singh is also the first urban wearing. So I guess that's the the religious beliefs, the garb, and all that type of stuff. My bad for misplacing the word of what that's called, the head wrap. To sit on legislator in Ontario. He has been widely recognized in Canadian media for his fashion and style sense. All right. Singh identifies as both progressive and social democrat. He advocates for the middle class families to get more support and taxing the very rich multimillionaires and billionaires, as well as large corporations. So he's definitely looking to tax people like Drake a little bit more, right? Drake is making a lot of money out there. His taxes is probably ridiculous out there. All right. So I guess if I'm an ambassador like Drake, I wouldn't mind having a relationship with people like this either. Right? But damn, let's get into a video breakdown of Drake versus Canada. And shout out to Rapaholics once again. We subscribe to these folks over there, and they do great content. The name of this one is Drake Beefs Canada over Kendrick'S show. I think it's with small typo in there, Rapaholics. All right, let's check it out.
I study rap battles for a living.
Lobries and Gentlegrams, in today's episode of Lobry in Gentleland, the marvelously emasculated mob boss wannabe got fried like a chicken wing all up at Jollibee's. He said the name and saw Candyman like it was Halloween. Kendrick played the game and went to Lobry's land, and fans caused a scene. And now Lobriana's drunk texting Jasmeet Singh, spiraling and belligerently starting beefs with Canada, politicians poking fun at the Canadian Anderson Pamela. In this video, me being a Canadian, I will give you the scoop of how Lobriana, the Marilyn Monroe ho, even up in Canada, is getting treated like poop. But first, slurp and burp.
And remember, people, Rapaholics, as he just said, he is a Canadian. He is a Canadian. I think that's always been a bugged out twist to the content that he's covered ever since this battle started.
On the like and subscribe buttons like soup.
I study rap battles for a living.
Now, Lobries and Gentlegrams, as you guys know, the sharp shooting short.
Why people be taking my edit style of continue to bring something back during a video? Shout out to Rapaholics.
Statured assassin, I can't even speak. The sharp shooting short statured assassin, the tiny Tupac twin, collected another win, doing 2 nights back to back in the Rogers Stadium. And I want you to do the math with me here. There are 3 million people as of 2022 in Toronto. Kendrick did 2 nights in a stadium that seats over 50,000 people. That means he performed in Toronto for over 100,000 people. That is over 3% of the entire Toronto population. So Kendrick performing Not Like Us, Kendrick performing all these Drake diss tracks, that's not just a big moment because it was in Drake's city. The bigger thing that no one's talking about is the fact that he did so in front of 100,000 people, which is over 3% of the entire population of that city. Kendrick went to Drake's own city and dissed him in front of 3% of every person that lives in that city. That, my friends, is why Lobriana is crying about this like little prom queen petitioner that he is. And boy, don't get it twisted. He is crying, all right? He's drunk texting politicians. He's liking Instagram posts. He's posting Instagram pictures of his BBL liposuction abs, allegedly. He's doing a lot, all right? We're going to break it all down.
I study rap battles for a living.
But first, we got to take a look at the show that is having the BBL buffoon in blasphemous shambles right now. It was a great show. Let me tell you, I did not see it, but based off the clips that we're going to take a look at, the energy was crazy high on both nights. And of course, the chemistry between Kendrick and SZA has only been getting better as the show's progressed.
I think night 2 done.
Yeah. Y'all ate up night 1. I'm sorry to say it. I'm sorry. The energy ate it up so crazy. Literally, I'm trying to figure out what pit was the stronger pit. Was it this pit? How much energy strong now? Is it this pit? Is it this one? I don't know. We asked y'all them on the shore. Okay, I ain't for sure again. On my good side. I know some of the energy is on top, isn't it? Isn't it? Thank you, everybody up top.
You know, it'd be petty as hell. Like if he does an interview when the tour is over and they're like, man, so tell us about your experience. And he's like, man, it was great. You know, we got out there, the people, the way they received our tour, the feedback to the music. SZA killed it. You know, I did my little 1-2 out there. It was great, man. Thank you everybody that supported. So tell me about your favorite cities. What was some of your favorite experiences, your favorite shows? Well, you know, of course, you know, being back here at home, you know, that's always going to be number one. You know, this is the place that I'm from, raised. This is what made me, you know, the shows in LA, man. It couldn't have gone any better, man. Thank you to all the people. But besides that, you know, we pretty much toured everywhere. And I would say second to that, Toronto was my favorite. Imagine, imagine, son. It's like, yo, if you had to put it in order of the moments, or you know what? I won't say put it in order, but just you remove ourselves from this current living through the battle that just won't fucking go away. And mind you, people, I'm one of the people that I'm totally fine if this shit just all stops. Like, unless it's a song, like it's we've had enough. It's over. We're still going. There's still big situations that draw us right back into this battle. The effects of it will never be matched again in our lifetime. But anyway, if you remove ourselves from this moment and you go 5 years from now, right? Let's assume and by then it's finally dead. And you think back, you say, what were some of the standout moments? Okay, obviously the songs. You're gonna say that. You're gonna say the Super Bowl halftime show. Duh. You're gonna say Kendrick sweeping the Grammys. Yep. You're gonna say the UMG and Drake lawsuit. Yup. You know what else you're probably gonna say? Kendrick performing in Toronto. And then after that, I start to get a little hazy. Shit gets gray. I don't know. I don't know if I got any more for the list. Those are the big bullet points, people. Insane. This is way big of an impact because I don't expect anything else big to be happening unless songs drop because this shit is over. How the fuck does this guy go into Toronto? Okay, we saw it on the date. Cool. We'll see how it turns out. Will he get booed? Will it just be a nice little regular show? Instead of it being a regular show, it's a highlight of the one of the highlights of the battle. Like how? Look, have y'all looked around the internet and seen this shit? Yo, it can't be Boogeyman. You need another classification for this guy, Kendrick. You got to kill him. you gotta kill him.
Most definitely. Can we rock one more with y'all? Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
And this is crazy, all right? Look how crazy the energy in this show looked. That shows you this man was not just performing.
Mind you, people. There was a whole wave of the hip hop world that tried so hard to say, "Oh, his songs ain't really hitting like that. Ain't nobody reacting in the building at the Super Bowl." Once again, I was really let down to see some people even go with that narrative. Like Kai Cenat was one of them, and we see Drake and Kai Cenat supposed to be having a stream coming up, right? There was some bias there. I'm not a guy that's just like from the outside looking in. Once again, I was there as well. I was at the Super Bowl in the building. The guy got a great reception. The energy in the building was like, yo, we just watched some amazing shit all the way up to the point when it was over. So when I got back and I saw that, I said, okay, but let's say that even was true. Somehow in New Orleans, right? He didn't get the biggest reception. We don't even want to have the conversation anymore. The man just went into the place where he's supposed to get not just the lightest reception, but to what some of y'all thought, not even allowed in the building. Booed, set on fire, stoned, and ran off the stage. and he got one of the biggest receptions of the tour. Arguably the biggest one. This is what happens when y'all lie and y'all try to reach simply for y'all fucking favorites. Shit like this happens and y'all look stupid as fuck.
Not like us. This man had Euphoria going off, like that going off. And again, for 3% of the entire Toronto population, all right? His little buddy, Dave Free, documented the entire thing on his Instagram story. I mean, it just looks crazier and crazier as you see more videos.
Is this world of mine?
Hey,
Hey, hey, hey, hey. Hey, 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 hey. Now let me hear you say, oh, be home.
And, you know, if you're wondering, was it just a bunch of AI robots, a bunch of K-bots at the concert?
Yeah.
Was it real people? Did they really get, 3% of Toronto packed into these stadiums? Well, take a look at the crowd noises here. Tell me, does this sound like bots?
Fuck the sound. Don't look like it neither, huh? Oh, I never saw this clip. They screamed his name. They chanted his name.
Bro, and by
too.
far, like from the beginning, the very beginning, when the song first released to the pop-out concert to now seeing this song performed at the GNX tour, I gotta say with full certainty, Euphoria is by far the best song to come out of this battle, all right? Maybe not the most effective hit, whatever you want to say, but like in terms of just a cinematic masterpiece of a collection of different flows, attacks, and just overall performance, like the song lays the groundwork for the ability for Kendrick to have the craziest performance when he does this song front to back. Like, look how cinematic this stuff looks.
don't tell no lie about me, and I won't tell the truth about you.
Right here with photo pay, thinking about no people. I'm whipping what I so okay. Got a Benjamin and a Jackson all in my house, like I'm true, okay? Like I'm true, okay?
All right, and here's something to piss you off, all right? After all the success, right? And like I told you guys, he performed for over 3% of Toronto. I mean, maybe some people from New York, maybe some people from Montreal pulled up to this show. Maybe it wasn't all Torontanians who were at this show, Crody, all right? But it was majority Toronto people. But
I ain't gonna lie, man. Like, he is right about how Euphoria comes off live when you perform it. I ain't gonna lie. He's spot on. Like, hold on. Can y'all see it? You can hear me cheering in the background. Like, even when I was there, I was just like, oh shit. Like, the way that the pyrotechnics is going off with the production and everything. Euphoria goes crazy. I ain't gonna lie. My favorite song in the whole shit, and to me, still one of the most destructive and nastiest and energy stealing, soul killing songs in battle rap or hip hop battle history to me is Meet the Grams. That shit haunted me. It still does. That's my personal preference favorite. But Euphoria, you can perform it, you could play it on the radio, you could play it in the car, you could play it in the gym. It hits, it's scathing, it shows off his ability, it shows off his creativity, it addresses, it checks every fucking box that you could want this song to check, and then some. So I see where Rapaholics is going with that. Euphoria is one of them ones, man. And a lot of people still will argue in Family Matters. And the growth and the continuing of Euphoria is something that I think continues to push down how great of a song Family Matters actually is. To be honest, the longevity of it, it's like sooner or later, how do you continue to rank some of these songs when you were watching what they're doing a year plus later versus Family Matters, which was pretty much swept under the rug, not even by Euphoria, but by Family Matters, which is the song that gets the least play in the whole battle. That in the Hot Park 6, nobody plays them songs on the radio or nothing like that. Nobody. Wow.
This OVO and many other ones had a lot of excuses for why Kendrick was so successful in doing these 2 shows back to back, and of course making Drake look like a fool while doing it. And before I roll the clip, I want to touch on an important thing, right? Like when rappers go to their ops' city or whatever you want to call Drake to Kendrick, right? His op, whatever. Like usually they create some big moment around it, right? Like before they do the diss song, like when Drake did back to back in Philly, he's talking up the crowd. Like he's making the moment about a lot more than just the music. What Kendrick does is he just lets the music speak. Like when you see the crowd going crazy for him, it's literally just Kendrick standing there, not saying a word, letting the crowd cheer, perform the song one more time. All he does is he does his straight set list. All he's doing is letting the music speak, and that is the reaction you're getting. And that's how powerful the actual messaging within the music is. But you got the OVO Courthouse Karens doing gymnastics, all right, trying to figure out how Kendrick was able to pull something like this off in Toronto. And I mean, let me just say in advance, this guy comes with straight BS. First, he gets the size or the seating capacity of the Rogers Center wrong. He's saying it's around 30,000-40,000. Really,
I need Maul's reaction.
He tries to downplay the fact that even if it was 40,000, that's 80,000 people. He's trying to downplay, saying that Kendrick only has 2% of Toronto being actual fans of him. But think about how ridiculous that is, right? And think about how substantial of a number even 100,000 people is. Ridiculous. So he says that, and then he also says the tickets were $20. That's another big narrative people are trying to run with. That is straight cap. If you went on Ticketmaster the day of the concert, you would have seen tickets were only going for $200 to $300. But I want to give you a glimpse of some of the mental gymnastics these OVOs are doing, because it's going to play an important role to the narratives that Drake is now trying to feed.
Kendrick Lamar selling out Toronto 2 days in a row doesn't impress me, right? It only impresses small-minded people. It doesn't impress people who can think, right? Now, yes, I am a Drake fan. Yes, I do not like Kendrick Lamar, and I'm saying that I don't like his.
The nigga just who is this guy? I don't need to know, as a matter of fact. You come out trying to belittle anybody that has a different opinion than you by using small-minded. And the way you sound off rip is just like, you don't sound too much like a genius, buddy. And then you just totally kill everything that is to follow by saying, first of all, I just want to let y'all know I'm a big Drake fan. I don't like nothing about Kendrick. Good job. These are the people that this battle actually revealed and created. You walk through life with this type of mentality, dude. Seek help if help could be found for you, man. I say over here on this side, on the Sorry It's True side, we don't take no fucking side, man. I don't give a fuck about neither one of them guys at that level. I wish I would be out here carrying a jock strap, but even one of these fucking niggas, neither one of them niggas paying my fucking bills. If Drake catches a W, we're going to talk about it. Kendrick's just been kicking ass and taking days, so that's what we are. You know what I'm saying? And he kind of did put Drake in a position where you do look at Drake's character a little bit less, if for nothing else, the fucking UMG lawsuit. It's some whole shit. And this is coming from a battle rap league owner, from one of the biggest battle rap leagues in battle rap hip hop history that is worldwide. So if I'm saying that, all right, I think I have a little bit of credibility and ability to say that shit and take a position based on a fucking battle and the effects of somebody that says, I stutter rap battles for a living. And then you went and you sued over this shit. So no. It's justified for the people that say, yo, that's some whole ass shit. Drake, you look like a little bit different as a man throughout this shit. And then when we look at the battle, you lost. But tomorrow's fucking story, I'm over it, unless it's some shit that we're going to talk about and break down. And then I'm going to be fair and I'm going to go in either direction of whoever's doing it. But I wish I would come up here and say, yo, first of all, I'm going to tell you right now, whatever happened last night, I'm going to just bash it regardless because I don't even like Drake in the first place. So no, I'm still waiting for a good Drake song or a good Drake album. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to Drake's next album. The fuck? Dude, this is groupie tendencies. I've heard you speak for 3 sentences and I already spotted him and got him. This is groupie shit. But if you have the type of energy to walk around and create these type of fights for Drake, I hope he cash apps you one day at least. Make it worth it.
The music at all, right? It's just not for me. And I'm just being honest. Y'all can call it what y'all want to call it, right? But here's why it's not impressive. And this is why I'm going to keep defending Drake, because y'all so biased, right? Oh, Kendrick Lamar went to Toronto, started off 2 nights in a row. Let me tell you something. That is not hard for a superstar, period. Let me tell you why. It's 3 million people in Toronto. 3 million. That's the population, right? And that's a lot of people, right? When you think about it, with those small-minded people think about, Rogers Stadium only hold under 39,000. So let's just say 40,000. So in order for Kendrick Lamar to sell out Rogers Stadium twice, he need 80,000 people. That's it, right? Do you know the percentage of 80,000 people like compared to 3 million people in Toronto? The percentage is only 2.6%. So that means Kendrick Lamar only need a fan base of 2.6%, not even 5%.
So, dear KD riders, this is why I be saying I'm not impressed.
Did I just listen to that? Oh my God. Whatever you do for a living, homie, God forbid it has anything to do with mathematical equations and analysis. Wow.
Right? This man wanted to sell out so bad. He wanted to impress Drake so bad in Drake hometown. He's like, I can't sell it out. These tickets been on sale forever and could sell it out. Let me put them on sale for $20. I just want to say I sold out in Jake Town because people don't really like me. You know, whatever. I need to sell out for $20. That's a value. What do you call this? Now, I just debunked your math already. I told you it was K-Dot math or KD rider math. You said we can't count the senior citizen. What do you call her? Stop it. And the ticket was only $20.
And then, of course, you had the king of the OV hoes, DJ Big Mac, Snacka, Henny Demix, the hungry Henny hippopotamus of hip hop, the lobby loving, lard infused, confused computer warrior, Big Mac, Snacka Demix. I love saying that. Big Mac, Snacka Demix. Yellow with me, all right? He was absolutely devastated seeing Kendrick crush the show in Toronto.
They say in Toronto, they was called.
Now, before I watch whatever he's about to play, if this isn't a clip that we've already played a scene, I know Ak ain't gonna let me down like that last guy. When I say let me down, it's just as far as me look at you and say, this person shouldn't even be, this person's stupid. Let me just call it space. It's a dumb fuck right here. I know Ak ain't gonna let me down. He's gonna have some logic or some intelligence, even though we know his bias already, right? But that last guy, Rapaholics, I'm mad at you for even putting him in your fucking video. That last guy, he didn't even deserve the spot on your stream or my stream.
Look,
brother. Hey, Drake, if you're watching, there's no hard feelings, brother. If you put me on your ghostwriting team, oh, you might have stood a chance. I don't know. Kendrick been the king of Toronto since 2013. To be honest, Obi host is crying. They got to worry about affidavits right now.
Now, let me just say this. First and foremost, by the way, this out of these insecurity. Look, let me just be very clear. Toronto, I've been saying it for the longest. Y'all my favorite city. I've never been more disappointed. I was going to Caribbean. I think I got to cancel that trip. I was about to go to the show last night.
And of course, he had a message for the people of Toronto after witnessing history like this.
And I don't care who this applies to, whether it's Drake, team somebody. Nobody popped out and showed this. Not even a cup thrown on stage, nothing. So you telling me this on a worldwide tour just violating, and the only nigga popped up and it even had an argument with a nigga was Ak? Oh, nah, I'm good.
But no.
Hold on. So shout out to chat on this one that says Drake never sold out the Rogers Center. I saw that, and let me Google it again real quick. Who is the first rapper to sell out the, what is it called again? My bad. The Rogers Center? Yeah, the Rogers Center in Toronto, right? The Rogers Center in Toronto. It says Kendrick Lamar is the first rapper to sell out the Rogers Center in Toronto, achieving this feat by selling out multiple nights for his grand national tour, according to Facebook posts. This accomplishment is particularly notable as it occurred in Drake's hometown, and Rogers Center is a large venue. But the 2% of the population, and then you guys don't even understand because you're so small-minded. And you know, if there's 1 million people in Toronto, and then you take 2.5% of that, you only need like 80,000 people in the center, and then you're gonna have it sold out. So of course, I'm just gonna break it down right now. Plus, I don't even like that motherfucking Kendrick to begin with. So y'all all messed up in there, and you're not even supposed to be counting the senior citizens. So fuck up, you dumb fuck. This Google better not work. It better not work. It better not work. Watch this. It better not. I'm doing this live with y'all. It better not come back. Drake ever perform in the Roger Center in TORONTO. Enter. It better not. It better not. Whew, thank God. Okay, it says no. Drake has never headlined a concert in Roger Center, formerly Sky Dome in Toronto. I'm tearing up. While he has While he has performed there, it was as a guest. Okay, of Justin Bieber. Oh, Justin Bieber performed. Hold on. What major artist? How about that? Have performed in the Roger Center in Toronto. What major artists have performed there? Let's see if you can give me some big names. Oh shit, you have the biggest. You have a bunch of the biggest. Roger Center in Toronto has hosted a wide range of major artists throughout its history. Some notable names include the Rolling Stones, U2, Bruce Springsteen, drumroll, Taylor Swift, the woman that Drake says that he even gets out of the way of when she's dropping. I'm not done. Beyonce, Madonna, Guns N' Roses. Oh my God. You know what Kendrick is like? No bullshit with some of this shit. It's like LeBron. Like he's racking up these accolades that aren't traditionally followed. Right? Like if I was LeBron, I would have been took one of my handlers and said, rack up all my shit and create like a plaque or something for it. I need a whole room that's all of my accolades. The accolades that we tend to think about is like, let's say, okay, rebound leader, assist leader, scoring leader, how many championship rings, how many all-star appearances, how many MVPs. You get it? But then there'd be like a lot of the sneaky analytical stuff that these people have leads in, especially like LeBron. He's got 1 million of them, where it'd be like the only player to average 35 points in a second round of a playoff series after the age 37. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's meaningful though. It's just those type of accolades and those type of stats that we don't really follow and call out that much. And Kendrick got a bunch of shit. And I'm finding out some of this live with y'all, doing this whole Roger Center in Toronto thing. Like, okay, cool. He's the first rapper to sell it out. Dope little accolade to tuck in his pocket. And then when I go look up, like, well, what's the competition though? Like, well, not competition, but who else performed there? And you see the Taylor Swifts and the Beyoncés and the Guns N' Roses and the U2s and all that's performed there too. And it's just like, that makes it more notable a little bit, a tiny bit. You know, if you got the 3%, and then it's only 1 million people throw. You fucking asshole. Like, I'm so bad at Rapperholics for putting that guy in his video now.
Even though Academics is requesting that, Drake had some clapback for these Toronto performances, he had nothing. The only thing Drake did was what he's been doing for the last 3 years. Get on Instagram and post some petty BS, putting the target on the wrong individual, all right? Remember when Birdman went to the Breakfast Club and he was yelling at Charlemagne because Charlemagne was talking crap, and Charlemagne was like, I'm just the radio guy. Like, why are you not, pressing Trick Daddy or Rick Ross? over their comments about you and your business dealings, right? You're pressing the radio guy. That's the same thing here. We only saw Drake diss Joe Budden once Joe Budden retired from rap officially. We saw Drake go at Serena Williams' husband. We saw him go at Anthony Fantano, the YouTube music guy, or as he calls himself, internet's busiest music nerd. And now we're seeing him go at Canadian politicians because they made an appearance at the GNX show. We're going to break that down. We got to get to some other funny stuff first, though. All right, so aside from BJ Big Mac Snackademics, we also got to touch on Ovi Ho Mall, because back in the day, man,
here we go. I need to see more.
A crazy prediction. This man really said that Kendrick could not sell out an arena, let alone a stadium, but an arena, a smaller venue in Toronto.
To see Drake booking a show at Crypto,
of course,
selling it out
for sure,
people enjoying it.
I don't. Y'all peep Maul's hat during this on the low. Is that an accident? Gotta be an accident, Maul.
I don't know if Kendrick is booking a show at the Scotiabank Arena and people not showing up to just boo him. Like, I don't think Drake gets booed in LA at the Crypto at his show. I can 100% see Kendrick getting booed all night at a Scotiabank Arena show.
And on a side note, this is so stupid, right? Like, think about Drake trying to perform Family Matters or push-ups in the Crypto Arena in an LA venue. Like, come on, man. That guy, I know I might be biased, all right? But, like, if you're telling me you think Drake can go to LA and perform his Kendrick diss tracks on stage, forget the Tupac one, just the Family Matters, like the red button, the bomb that he thought he had, he would get booed off that stage so quick you would have thought Sandra picked him up for daycare. You would have thought his liposuction BBL abs had melted with how quickly he would run off that stage with the crowd.
Let's talk about it. Can Drake perform? All right, let's start with the first question. Can Drake perform in LA right now? Just a general show with his hit songs. My answer is yes. His catalog is one of the deepest catalogs in music history as far as hits and charting songs. Drake has a fan base everywhere. He can go into any state, any city, any country and sell tickets. Okay? And sell tickets. Now, can he get to that show in the midst of all this energy with him and Kendrick and perform this song? Maybe. Here's why it's worse to me for Kendrick, because Kendrick, even the "we don't want to hear you say nigga no more," where does that come from? It definitely is part of it, you know, Drake being half Jewish, right? Maybe it's me. Am I reaching? Y'all keep me grounded if I'm reaching, but I feel like some of that is tied to where he's from and his culture. Like, you hear Top 5 talk. When Top 5 says the word nigga, it makes me cringe. It makes me fucking cringe. Nigga, the way he talks, I'm just like, it sounds like even your slang and the way you talk culturally is forced. It feels weird, right? And we've seen that in the lyrics. We've seen that in the narratives of, it's not just you, Drake, that I dislike you, or you might be into young girls, or you have, I'm using your backdrop of you being Canadian. So for Kendrick to go into Toronto and for them to stop and say one more time, and then go into no King or no whatever restaurant and sing OV Ho and all that type of shit is crazy. Now, if Drake tries to do a diss song in LA, one thing that I don't remember ever happening during the battle is any narratives of Drake beefing with where Kendrick is from. As a matter of fact, you know who even rapped this? The Sea Breeze and then right? He's rapping people from out there. He shouted out people from out there. The TaylorMade was not meant to be disrespectful. The Tupac estate probably had it taken down, one, because it's like, yo, this is a big situation that's going on. We ain't making no money here. You ain't tapping with us. You ain't checking with us. And then on top of that, it's Kendrick. Like, you got to pick a side. The same way Snoop got called out for it. Like, Snoop, you posted it, and Snoop went on the record and apologized. Like, at the end of the day, this is where I'm from. I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? TaylorMade and even the whole Tupac voice. Stop it, people. I don't care how much of a Kendrick fan you are. That was not intended to be disrespectful at all. There was nothing that made me feel like, oh, you're going to violate Cali. You're going to violate Pac like that. he did it almost in a homage way. Okay, Drake. So there's nothing that I see from the battle that made me feel that Drake is also shooting at the backdrop of Kendrick as far as his culture, where he's from, what he represents. No, Kendrick did that to Drake, though. He did. So if I believe he can come into LA, do a song, sell tickets to his fan base that's out there. If he got up there and he did, like, let's say, Family Matters, I don't think he's getting ran off the stage. I don't think he's getting booed out the building. I don't think so. Unless it gets trumped up. If you put this show together, you sell your tickets, and during like the promo run, you just like, yeah, I got something for you, Kendrick. Then they're gonna want to show you, like, no, we can't do that, right? And if you even trump it up in the building, like, that's one thing that Kendrick didn't do. They said that earlier, like, shout out to Rapaholics. He said that earlier in this video. He said he's not trumping up, he's just letting the song speak for himself, the songs that you guys already know. So if Drake gets up on that stage, he's like, yeah, it's been a lot of disrespect coming my way, that Kendrick, boom, 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 and you do that, then by the time you do one of them songs, you're going to create a different energy in the building. When I went to the GNX tour, for example, there was none of that. Yeah, there was indirect trolling. So when him and Scissor's off stage and they changing outfits and we're watching the screenplay and it's really a deposition of him up there trolling Drake, suing, which nobody agrees with, even Canadians, I hope. Right. Well, then again, I don't know. You never know. Right. But that is something that is not necessarily saying I'm going to stop the songs that we all know already and I'm going to talk about the battle. I'm going to talk about Drake. I'm going to pull one of those. If Drake does that, yeah, you change the energy in the building. That's how you go from people just showing up with a ticket in hand to boo, whack. You change the energy. But I think he could do it. It's just how he does it. Let me know if y'all agree or disagree about Drake performing in LA right now. And if he did, would he be able to do his diss songs?
Reaction after performing Family Matters. And allegedly, all right, I'm not saying he has liposuction abs. That crowd would react with more disgust than Big Mac Snackademics when he sees a salad. And bro, it gets worse, all right? He gets pressed on this statement a bit because it's absolutely nuts. And then he says, all right, maybe a couple people would boo Drake if he tried to do a show in LA, but like everyone would go to Kendrick's show in Toronto specifically with the sole purpose and sole motive of just booing him off the stage.
So let me explain like this. I think that Drake will do a show in LA. While people in LA may not, they'll boo him, but I think it'll be a lot of people there that will definitely support Drake. I don't think I could say the same as far as Kendrick going to Toronto. I think everybody that goes to a Kendrick show in Toronto is going there strictly to try to ruin his show.
What?
And boo him. I think so.
I mean, I think this man has latched onto Lobby's log for so long that he's got brain fog at this point. Because, like, what are these takes, man? What are these takes? I don't know when he said this, but, like, at least Kendrick was able to show you, all right? Like, thank you, Kendrick, for coming to Canada and proving all these idiots wrong. Not only did they...
He can't. He can't. DV can't, because it's after now. Like, if things would have just been kind of like regular... People's busy talking about the Diddy trial and other shit going on in the world, and Drake pops up and says, hey, I got a tour, and one of my dates coming up in May or June or July is LA. I think a lot of his fans, once again, would just buy tickets because he can pop out for an incredible show and he has an amazing catalog. But after this Kendrick show now, if Drake was to be like, yo, I'm going to LA, what's the narrative? The narrative is that, oh, now he wants to try to get back. Oh, he wants to try to compete with what Kendrick did. So now you're making the fans think different. They're walking into that building as some of them are going to carry now their LA and their native and their local pride into the building now, instead of saying, I got this ticket because I just want to see the best I ever had performed live. Like, you know what I'm saying? You change it. So Kendrick, believe it or not, he hurts any show that Drake does in that area for a little bit. I think he does, because now you make everything comparable, Whereas it could have just been like Drake is doing Drake and Kendrick is doing Kendrick. our minds, if Drake pops up with that announcement right now, what are we gonna think? What are we gonna think? Oh, it's a fight. It's not about this. It's a concert fight. It's a where I can perform fight now. We're gonna see. We saw what how it worked for Kendrick. Now let's see how it works for Drake. That's where all of our minds is gonna go, and it's gonna go into the same fucking thought patterns of all the ticket holders. So you can't do it now, you know. So I see what you are, DV, but no, don't get Drake set up. There's got to be some smart people in this corner to think about possibilities like this. To say, now we were thinking about LA, but we got to hold off for a couple months now because certain energies and narratives is going on. You got to navigate it. You got to put your ego and your pride to the side. I'm not saying Drake got to come out and announce, yeah, I got a tour that I'm supposed to be doing May through July, but I'm skipping LA because of Kendrick. No, I'm not saying you publicly put that out there. Where you guys sit privately at a table and you map this shit out the same way Kendrick and his team mapped out. Guys, we're gonna be fine going to Toronto, right? A bunch of smart people that understand their demographic and their fan bases. It is what it is.
They not boo him. They were chanting for him to sing Not Like Us one more time. And again, Kendrick just follows the set list. He just lets the music do the talking. He's not even trying to sensationalize the moment by performing Not Like Us 17 times, which he easily could have, right? Like, remember when Travis Scott did Fiend 20 million times, or when Jay-Z and Kanye West did N in Paris a million times, right? Like, Kendrick could have easily done that with Not Like Us. In Toronto, they would have sat there for 4 hours watching him just do that one song. We saw him do that at the pop-out. Like, that's what makes Kendrick's move so calculated. Like, he knew he had to do that one time, you know, where he does Not Like Us 7 times back to back, but he chose to do that in his hometown. As far as the GNX show, he keeps that strictly on the set list. He makes sure SZA has her shine. He has his own shine. He's not really diverting off to the antics, off to the gimmicks. He's strictly just letting the music do the talking. He does Not Like Us one more time and leaves the crowd wanting more. So much so to the point where they're chanting for him to do it one more time. And I'm seeing a lot of idiots out there saying that Canada has no culture because we let Kendrick do, you know, Euphoria and Not Like Us, where he's talking about, you know, they not like us, or on Euphoria, he says, I'd rather double the wage on the Tupac ring that you bought than let Tupac turn in his grave over a Canadian. These are not disses to Canada. These are disses to the fact that Drake, being an outsider to the foundation of hip hop, where hip hop was rooted in, where the genre originated from, and the essence of what defines the culture, right? Drake is obviously the antithesis of that. Same with Canada in general, right? Like, I'm here, I'm a white Canadian. I'm very aware that I'm a tourist to this culture, right? But I grew up on hip hop. I love hip hop. And that's fine and great for Drake to do that and to elevate the sound of hip hop by contributing great things to it. But the problem is how he's moved over the last 15 years of his career. These were not disses to Canada. These were disses to an outsider who has commoditized the culture, who has taken advantage of power, who's polluted the genre with formulaic, generic, repetitive floods of soulless music. And I'm not going to make this like a Drake hate video, all right? I like a lot of Drake's older music. I will say that. Take Care to Me is a classic. But as a Canadian, I could very much see how these were not disses to Canada. These were disses to a man who, again, Kendrick feels is poisonous to hip-hop culture. If they were disses to Canada, he would not perform in Canada. It's like he could call Donald Trump a chump on his song, and you're not going to see him perform at the White House for Donald Trump, right? The same way if he didn't like Canada, he would not perform in Canada. And it's all right that Kendrick has Canadian fans.
That is like as simple as it gets. That's as simple as it gets. You take a bunch of smart people that's going to say, this city, we might make $115 million. This stop over here, we might make a quick $50 million. And you plot this tour out. I don't care, even if you had mediocre thinkers, navigators, chess players, businessmen at the table with Kendrick and Dave Free and PG Lang. The most simple decision can be, of all these places that we can go, I just don't want to go to Toronto. We don't need to go to Toronto. I feel like we have problems in Toronto. What makes them say, go ahead and put Toronto on there 2 nights? I'm telling you, man, there's some intelligent people over there generating this chessboard for a year plus. I don't think it was out of pettiness. And if it was, Kendrick would have brought that to the show instead of just sticking to the regular script. The whole regular script that anybody that's gone to the tour has seen thus far. You know?
I am a Canadian. I'm a fan of hip hop first. And I think Kendrick puts hip hop first. I think he put competition first. That's why he initiated this battle to begin with Like That. And that's what I admire him for, pushing the boundary, right? Being a fan of hip hop and live shows, I even saw Drake and J. Cole on their tour in 2023, right before First Person Shooter and Like That came out. And I could tell you the energy did not hold a candle to what we're seeing in these clips of the GNX show. You could call it glazing, you could call it hating, you could call it whatever you want, all right? Again, at the end of the day, I'm a fan of strong artistry. I'm a fan of hip hop, and I love to see it displayed at this type of high level on the biggest stages in the world. All right, now rant's done. Now it's time to debunk the next OVHO coping mechanism or theory or excuse about the success of this concert. So, you know, tensions are high, right? Of course, Drake was telling academics that there's been a car parked outside his house for a week because they knew that the tensions would be high for this show. In my last video, I showed you guys Drake's little minion top 5 was trying to knock on the door of the hotel that he thought Kendrick was staying at in Toronto. He was talking for the last few months about how Kendrick won't be safe in Toronto, right? So, of course, the tensions are high here. Kendrick is going to make sure security is at an all-time high level. Why the hell would he not, right? You're talking about a guy who is suing over a rap battle, and the same fan base that thinks that's okay, thinks it's not okay for the biggest rapper in the world right now, who had the biggest beef in the world with the biggest public figure in Toronto, to not have immense security within Toronto. So Kendrick was, of course, rolling around with a heavy police escort. Allegedly, he also flew from Toronto to New York to sleep before day 2 of the GNX show in Toronto. And is this something that seems unacceptable to you guys? You guys want him to walk around with no police security? Dumbest narrative I've ever heard in my life. But of course, Drake feeds into it, right? So he's liking posts on Snackademics' page where Snackademics is reporting that Kendrick had a lot of police security, trying to imply, you know, like, haha, like I'm making you come with all this police security because this is my city. I run Toronto. You're not safe here. And don't worry, we're getting to a point here, all right? But yeah, here, as you can see, Snackademics TV posts image of police escort outside the Rogers Stadium in Toronto, escorting Kendrick to the airport where he flew to New York to sleep and will fly back into Toronto tomorrow. Liked by none other than Champagne Petition Padre. Again, does he think this is a W for him? Kendrick performed for 3% of the Toronto population, dissing Drake on stage 2 nights in a row, but wanted to play it safe and had police with him to make sure nothing happened.
Real quick, people, I just Googled in the background, how much did Kendrick's Toronto show generate? I'm actually a little surprised at the number, considering that some cities he's broken ridiculous records in the hundreds of millions. But it says Kendrick Lamar's Toronto shows in his grand national tour generated a substantial amount of revenue, specifically $9,124,989. This was achieved by selling out all 47,354 seats with an average ticket price of around $192.70. Okay, the show's success broke records for the highest grossing hip hop concert ever, surpassing previous milestones according to Hot New Hip Hop. Here's more detailed breakdown. Total gross 9.1, total tickets 47.3, average ticket price 192.7. Significance, this is okay. So that, I mean, that's still when we talk about the police presence and everything. He walked out of there real quick with 10 million, well, generating a quick $10 million. You know, it's gross. So that's significant as fuck. You know, we're not talking about somebody coming in and performing at a little nightclub and picking up $30,000, right? At top 5, you're not big enough to beef with that type of guy. You pulled up to the Noble Hotel with 5 people, dressing pretty when the war's on, right? And doing a 6ix9ine video, right? Kendrick is moving around with 17 armored police trucks, security guards, all types of shit, and grossing 10 million. Dare I say, Toronto don't want you fucking with them. There's an economy side to things, okay? While you're over there doing fake videos, cutting off an ankle monitor that they go on the news and expose you for and say, I don't know why he had Mr. Amin or whatever is wearing the ankle monitor. He doesn't have those obligations to us. They're exposing you locally, your people, right? This out-of-towner from out the country comes in and grosses $10 million, who do they care about? That's why they sent the police force out there. He didn't fly in there with fucking LA, the police department, sergeants and whatnot. That's Canadian and Toronto police force lining the street, providing escort, providing protection and safety. He's a fucking commodity. This big deal, this big superstar, and all this money that's about to be put into the city is flying in next weekend. Everybody high alert. Let's do what we need to do to make sure this man is protected and gets in and out safe, because this hotel, this airport, this venue, this strip, this mall, all of the shit surrounding, it's up. We in the city. It's his Kendrick night, Kendrick and SZA night. All the money goes up. All the money goes up. Does anybody travel? Even in my teenage and my young 20 traveling days, I peeped that. I would go on fucking Expedia or some of these travel websites, and I'll pull up, okay, I need hotels in Miami Beach. I'm going out there for Memorial Day weekend. $400 a night. Damn. All you got to do is, like, let's say Memorial Day weekend is hot from like Wednesday through Tuesday. $400 a night. Damn. As soon as you get to like Wednesday, Thursday of the following week, it's just right back down to $50 a night. The whole city goes up and capitalizes on what's going on and the people that's coming in and the people that's spending money. Millions of dollars indirectly are generated as well. Then people would say, top 5, do you mean nothing to us when it comes to a man that's about to come into the city and put this type of money here? You pop up in front of us, we'll fuck you up. Not even Kendrick. We'll fuck you up. You ain't doing shit for the fucking city. Which also then leads me into like, not now, this is not the police department aspect, but this is like the natives. Like Drake has done a lot, though. He's not top 5. If you Google how much money has Drake donated to Toronto, things come up like $1 million to refurbish community basketball courts. Things come up like $2 million to a Canada basketball court. Things come up like $10,000 to Dixon Hall, donations to sick kids in hospitals, support for the Toronto Raptors and community initiatives. It's a philanthropist, man. He's done a lot out there. Don't take no credit from a man of what he's actually done. Top 5. You know what? I'm gonna leave that element alone. I'm gonna leave the rest of this alone. Shout out to Rapaholics, man. Everybody jump over to his channel and watch the second half of this video. But I'm gonna pull up briefly for y'all real quick. Just the latest and greatest update to the UMG and Drake lawsuit. Right? Nothing too crazy. This is probably, I think, the only entry to the docket within like the last almost like 4 weeks, like a month, right? It is oral argument requested. This is still about the dismissal, okay? United States District Court, Southern District of New York. You got Aubrey Drake Graham as the plaintiff, UMG still. UMG Recording Incorporated reply in further support of its motion to dismiss plaintiff's amended complaint, okay? That's still the step that they're at as far as that lawsuit. That's still going back and forth. This is an 18-pager. I'll grab a little piece of the argument for y'all as a highlight. I think we pretty much are still up to speed here, though. Once again, not much is happening on this docket as of recent. Drake fails to state a claim for defamation. The statements are non-actionable opinion, as detailed in UMG's motion. The tone, apparent purpose, and broader context of "Not Like Us" convey non-actionable opinion and rhetorical hyperbole, not fact. The question of fact versus opinion is a matter of law for the court, and thus appropriately raised the motion to dismiss stage. All right. Drake first misstates the relevant standard. Drake contends that the actual meaning of allegedly defamatory words must ultimately be determined by or at trial. But the portion of, and then this is a reference here, on which Drake relies has nothing to do with fact versus opinion, and instead relates solely to the distinct question of whether a statement is capable of defamatory meaning. On the relevant question of fact versus opinion, New York Court of Appeals authority makes clear that the issue is for the court to resolve. The court must assess the content of the communication as a whole, including its tone and apparent purpose and the overall context in which the assertions were made, and determine on the basis whether the reasonable reader would have believed that the challenged statements were conveying facts about the liable plaintiff. That's not like us, all summarized there for you people. Like, how do you interpret that? Defamatory? I didn't, especially in the middle of a battle. But yet again, I study rap battles for a living. Is anything closing that's worth pulling up here? The statements are not mixed opinion. There was another argument. Drake does not plead actual malice. Oh, he didn't? Well, he was definitely calling out. Like, he started off his initial complaint with his security guard laying on the floor and him holding his gunshot wounds. And he also brought into the lawsuit about people that vandalized his home and dug a hole underneath his gate and came onto his property. So he definitely did state that it intended malice. So I don't know what this piece really means by UMG, but Drake fails to state a claim for harassment. He mentioned it, but I guess so there's a difference between putting it in your initial lawsuit to build up the picture of defamation versus filing a claim of harassment. So I guess that would be the delineation there. Okay. Drake fails to state claim under New York, whatever reference law this is, GBL 349. What else we got? Conclusion. The amended complaint should be dismissed with prejudice. Word count verification. Don't need that. Okay. So that's where they at right now. They're still looking at dismissal. All right. How the effect of Kendrick's Toronto show is hurting Drake. Do you believe? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Does it change the way that it just feels like this puts them back on the chessboard again? You know, it's over at least. Every time Kendrick gets to a step, we feel like it's done. There's nothing else to do. How many times has the internet said this is a victory lap? Right? We said the Super Bowl was a victory lap. Okay, that came and went. It's over now. Then the Grammys like, oh, that's a victory lap. He just swept the shit. All right, we're done. Let's get back to business. Now he's on tour. That's a victory lap. Now we hone in on what happened when he got to Toronto. That's a victory lap. How many victory laps does Kendrick fucking need? It's because nothing is making this shit go fully away yet. Fully away. And Drake, if I try to understand if I was in his shoes at that level, there's just so much that happens that you just can't ignore. Now, do you need, if you want to DM the fucking politician of Toronto and call him a goof, so be it. But you don't have to post it publicly for the whole internet to turn around and flame this shit right back up in the midst of this guy performing in Toronto and the local fans begging him one more time for not like us. Like, how many stupid missteps does Drake have to have? At some point, we're going to call him stupid, if not already. Like, you keep doing stupid shit. It's stupid. Don't post that. Because then people could say a million things off of that. Like, oh, you're going to diss everybody else that was there. You're going to diss this person. You're going to diss that person. You're going to do this. And look this guy up. What has he done for the city? He does apologies. It looks like you're targeting him. You're bullying him. Like that's stupid. If you want to check a nigga. That's it. Why you post it? You know, it's just so much shit. Like, even back to the songs. You wanted to convince us that was a trap that you set. You know, we put the information, we fed you the information, like a good trap. Whose foot got caught in this shit? Yours or his? Like, stupid shit. The Fighting Irish song. Stupid decision. Putting out Hey Delilah when shit was still on 10. Stupid. Like, dude. Drake, just use this a little. People, somebody help, like use this a little bit more. The intelligence navigation between both sides just looks tremendous as far as the discrepancy. It looks tremendous. And this is why it can't go away. I'm with it just going away and being done. It won't go away because these guys, things happen still. Kendrick ain't no angel. He didn't have to go to Toronto. But Drake, you didn't have to post that you DM'd the politician. Like, all right, man. We'll get back to other news tomorrow morning, man. I appreciate y'all. Enjoy your Monday.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry True Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.